This is our first
test
of this,
first test ever of us doing live anything. So
yeah,
what an honor.
Hey, I'm here. Thanks.
And you know why? It's because he's so damn pretty. That's
Thank
why.
you.
Yes.
All of this is gonna be gone on September 8th.
This bullshit. No, it's not.
I'm going.
You gonna save it for me?
I'm going clean shaven.
You're going old school?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that'll be the first time I haven't had facial hair since 2010.
Wow.
I got to give my skin some sunlight sometime.
no.
I bet my face is fucking whiter than my ass at this point. Because seriously, like, yeah, it's just time.
Definitely by the ears is definitely like right here.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely white.
I mean,
at least on my side.
I'm gonna grow it again, but I'm gonna be like without facial hair for a week or at least 3 days, and then
How you gonna feel about that?
And then it'll come back more glorious. Oh, I'm gonna look dumb as hell.
You gonna send us a picture?
Yeah, I'll send everybody some pictures because I'm gonna look dumb as hell. But it's necessary.
All right, guys. So what's up, Tutorinos? Welcome back to the Game Addicts Podcast, episode 92, the game show, the show where we talk about the modern retro video games we play and collect. I am this podcast player 1, Brando. He is this podcast player 2, Mike, and joining us as player 3 is our good buddy Tyler McLaughlin.
Hey, back
Co-host,
again.
Co-host of Podcastrophe on the Journey to Comics Network, and soon to be on your own feed.
Yes.
So actually kind of cool that you're getting to come on and let another feed know about your own feed.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate any exposure that we get, and I love hanging out with you guys and talking video games, so I'm definitely happy to be here this week.
Oh, dude, I got to go and enjoy your guys' Podcastrophe's 50th episode and go back on the show for the first time in a long time. That was a lot of fun, and I'm like, we got to get you back on, and also because your schedule's about to pick up,
yep.
we need to get you on sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I become a college student again next week, so that's kind of, stressful. It's kind of a daunting task to go back to school after, almost a decade. So.
Well, yeah, and see, all right. So what we're doing here today is we're doing our first, test live stream, which changes how we record entirely. This was decided, probably about 2 o'clock today. This is what we're going to do. In fact, what I was actually going to do was I wanted to test the audio to see what it sounded like, and I was going to put a big image over just the pictures, audio only, guys, because we don't have any lighting set up, we don't have any framing set up. This is literally like the webcam is on a piece of cardboard. So we have not.
It's on my box that I received my mouse and keyboard.
It is. Yeah, but I mean, still, this is very just, hey, let's set this up and see what it looks like and sounds like, all that kind of stuff, because we're going to start doing it just like we've said for a long time.
Well, if you guys would like some recommendations on affordable studio equipment, excuse me, Blaine and I have been working through that over the last couple months, so I've definitely got some recommendations as far as lighting and whatnot goes on the affordable level.
We still have the softbox that I bought, and I'm probably going to buy. I think we have another light, but I need to buy more bulbs. We definitely have some lighting left over from my wife's photography business that she does, and that I can swipe and borrow. And but I do need some more bulbs that I need to get. I need to figure out what the light box even takes. So that's the number one on the agenda is finding. I need to open that thing up without breaking it this time,
right?
And figure out what, because I've literally. When I went to unscrew one time, I went to go unscrew it, and then the whole front of this fluorescent light bulb just popped off, and most of it was still in there. And I'm like, do you use a potato for these two or not? I don't know. It's like I'm gonna get electrocuted, and then
I can count to potato.
I'm just I had no idea what to do. But thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Of course, I mean,
dog meat.
Yeah, Dog Meat is making his. Well, he's not really visible. He just is behind you, Mike. But this week was a pretty heavy week for gamers. Something that really doesn't happen to us happened to us. And of course, I'm talking about the Jacksonville, Florida shooting at the Madden regionals.
Regionals, yeah.
They've said they've canceled the other regionals. I literally don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I know everybody else is talking about it, and I don't want you to tune into Game Addicts and have us just be somber sitting here because it's a sad thing no matter which way you look at it.
And there's so much misinformation being thrown around right now. We don't know what exactly happened, from ground level all the way up to the tragedy. So
thankfully, out of the was it 12 people that were shot?
I think that's right.
We only had a couple of fatalities. Thankfully, the rest are going to live. The gunman is no longer with us as well. Again, I've heard several things about what happened, about what sparked it, about what he left to come back. I don't know any of it. I don't know because a lot of times in cases like this, a lot of people don't know. They are, they can report the issues only as they get them.
Right.
And to cite and say, this news source cited this and it's completely wrong. Well, that's probably what they had, and they're not saying this absolutely happened.
Right.
They're saying we can conjecture this is what we've heard, and then they come back in later and goes, guys, we were wrong. It's hard. It's hard to cover stuff like this.
Yep.
And so that's why I just want to send our thoughts to everyone affected. Everyone.
Absolutely.
Whether you're, and best of luck on all the healing. It's going to take more than that. The big issue after this is that it's going to change gaming events going forward
Yes.
forever.
Especially with competitive gaming rising to the level that it is right now.
I've heard rumors that they're thinking about putting it in the Olympics.
Yeah, well, I've heard more, strong rumors that it's more than just a rumor, that it's all but been confirmed that competitive gaming is going to be an Olympic event, which, from somebody who was an athlete and somebody who's a strong gamer at the same time, it's like, man, that's really cool that our community is going to be recognized, but at the same time, it's like, it's video games. It shouldn't be in the Olympics.
It's a different...
You know what I'm saying, though.
Well, I agree with you, but I mean, to that same token, it's like, well, look at the X Games.
Absolutely,
they have their own thing.
Yep.
We don't need different variations of different skateboarding events in the Olympics. As much as those guys, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. Those guys are athletes under themselves. And to the same token, so are gamers. They put, when you get to that level of competition, it we would probably cave under that kind of crowd.
Right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up too, because there was a strong drive, in the 90s to push for something like the X Games, to give that community the exposure and, the viewership that they deserve, the recognition that they deserve, because they're athletes no different than Olympic pole vaulters. The X Games is for extreme athletes. They're all extreme sports. So who's to say that we can't just make that version for the gaming community, for esports in general? We don't need to lump everything into the Olympics.
No.
Let's just do our own thing, and then pump that up enough that it's as recognizable as the Olympics or the X Games. Absolutely.
And I kind of feel like maybe because they already do certain things. We have Evo, we have that's the big fighters, all that kind of stuff. You do have certain things for certain games,
right?
It would be neat to have something like the X Games or like the Olympics for gaming, where there's different categories and different stuff to go along with that.
Kind of the way that it makes sense in my head, you tie that all around, or you tie that around the same time as one of the major conventions.
Sure.
Like E3 or PAX.
PAX would be a great one.
PAX would be a great one.
Especially since they do kind of like PAX East, PAX West, PAX South. If you time it up with one of those where maybe PAX West was the original, so that one over there usually gets a little bit more than maybe East.
But East is up and coming.
It is, and South is even it's a little bit lower. But absolutely, if you just tag it on with one of those to kind of help boost up that actual convention and your own and the whole championships or whatever they're going to be called.
Well, and it would be so cool to bring and you hit the nail on the head. You have the the major fighter events, and you have the first-person shooter events. You know, you have the strictly Overwatch, strictly COD, strictly Battlefield. You know, they each kind of have their own event. You bring all of those communities together into one, you know, major event, just like the X Games. That just makes sense to me. Why wouldn't we do something like that?
It makes sense to me.
Especially with, you know, you look at the X Games. If you sit down and actually watch the X Games, the amount of advertisement and the amount of exposure that people and certain companies get, the money is there. Everyone reaps that reward.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be big for the industry.
Absolutely. Now, to shift gears just a little bit, because you can, you know, I was thinking of like the big three could definitely get involved, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I want to confirm something we talked about last week. The Xbox All Access program has been officially announced.
Yes.
And do you know about this at all?
I know a little bit about it. I was going to try and read up on it last night, but I got busy with the kiddo, and then you know how that goes.
Absolutely. So just to refresh you guys, if you don't remember or didn't listen, whatever. So there's now a payment plan option to get your Xbox. And it's through Microsoft Store. It's going to be there for now. And I believe it's only going to be in North America or just the United States at start. But of course, you can get the Xbox One S or the X. And it's going to cost you, I believe we said for the X, it was going to be like $35 a month for 2 years. After that, you own the console. That $35 also nets you Xbox Live and Game Pass.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it's actually such a fantastic deal, you end up paying less than if you went out and bought the console today and subscribed to both of those for 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. As long as it doesn't eventually become what all of our cell phone carriers have done, where you're leasing this console from us, and then when your contract's up, like you can pay it off and buy it, you know, buy the rest of it, or you can trade it in for the next one. So I think it's a great concept, and I think it will spur a lot more people kind of back onto the Xbox train. Yeah. Which, you know, every time I've been on this show, we've talked about how Xbox over the last 2 years has just continually stepped up their game to bring their fan base back. This is yet another thing that is going to bring a lot of fans back.
Absolutely. Well, it also helps those who maybe don't have quite the funds to go out and pick up a $500 console, but can afford to swing $35 a month.
Yep.
And then, of course, they can save money by not having to go out and buy a bunch of games. They already got instant access to a bunch, including all of the first-party Xbox, Microsoft games day one going forward.
Yeah, back when they did the like $1 a month or $1 for the first month deal with Game Pass, you told me about that, and I jumped on that right away, and I've kept it ever since.
Did you? Awesome.
Yeah, recently I've downloaded all the Banjo-Kazooie stuff, and I've been tinkering around with that a little bit. I haven't had a lot of time here lately, but $10 a month for Game Pass for me is definitely worth it.
I want to say I saw it's on deal right now for $2 for 2 months. So if anybody wants to check that out, go do it. If you've never done it before, you get a free trial for like maybe 2 weeks. It is worth it. It's worth it to check out because there's just such a we did an episode a while back where we weighed Game Pass versus the PlayStation Now. And I tried PlayStation Now. I actually got to try it, and it works. It works fine. If you could download the games, it'd be even better. Absolutely.
Do you think Sony is going to get to that point?
I've heard the downloading games might be in the next update in September. That has been rumored for months. If we get that, that's amazing because you can download a PS3 game technically to your console, and play it, which is awesome.
Right, that would be big.
You can't do like the Xbox and just put your disc in there. It's like good to go.
Right.
But you take your wins with your losses. The libraries were very similar. If you remember, Mike, we actually went through both Now and Game Pass, and they were very similar.
Yep. A lot of people said that the PS Now was the better one.
I think, and when we actually thought that the Xbox had the slightly better.
I mean, even if the libraries were close to the same, the price is $15 difference. So I think that's what it was, right? $25.
Yeah, well, because Game Pass is like
10.
It's 10, and like for 1 month, because I forgot to cancel it on the right time, I got charged $20 for a month of PlayStation Now.
$20, so it's $10, so half the price, and almost the exact same library.
But you also get the day one Microsoft stuff.
Yeah, it's a better deal by far.
I've just really enjoyed Game Pass because one night when I was bored and I didn't really want to play any of the, you pull up the Game Pass menu and you've got all the big stuff at the top, and then you scroll down and there's some gems towards the bottom of that list. I found Metal Slug XX, and
yeah,
I sat and played Metal Slug from like 9 p.m. until like 3:30 in the morning.
I love Metal Slug.
I got farther in Metal Slug than I ever have, ever. But I would have not had that experience had it not been for Game Pass. Because never have I walked into a store and seen a Metal Slug physical copy and said, I'm going to pay $60 for this. I used to pay 75 cents to fucking play this game. Now I'm going to pay $60 to play it. I just never had that impulse, and it took me 3 seconds to download it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then I played it for like 9 hours.
Oh, dude, Metal Slug is awesome.
Metal Slug is always awesome.
I love that. So we were talking. We were weighing the Xbox, PlayStation. Well, like we try to do every single month, we have the live with, free games with live, PlayStation Plus free games for September. They're both have been announced. They go live as you hear this just next week. So please go snag these up. Go over the Xbox Live ones first. Available all month for the Xbox One. Prison Architect. I assume it looks like you get to make some sort of prison, like a god kind of view, and you corral your prisoners, all that kind of stuff. A game called Live Lock is going to be available for the Xbox One for the latter half of the month. That goes live on September 16th. Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars.
That's cool.
For the first half, that's the 360 backwards compat, and then that's for the first half, September 1st to the 15th. The second half, Sega Vintage Collection, Monster World. That one. Now, I have already looked at these, and I can tell you right now, PlayStation Plus stomps the games of gold this month. Just on the PS4 alone.
I haven't seen what they've been yet, so.
So, for the PS Vita, I'm going to go in reverse order of relevance. Is a game called Foul Play. And then we have Sparkle 2 on the Vita, Cube Director's Cut for the PS3, Another World 20th Anniversary Edition for the PS3, God of War 3 Remastered for the PS4.
Hell yeah. Download that for sure.
And then Destiny 2.
Huh.
When did Destiny 2 release? Was that 1 year ago?
September of last year.
Yeah, so 1 year ago, the game came out, and now it's free for everybody who has Plus. So I see this as straight up as probably it is. It is like, okay, Destiny 2 has probably dropped off in player base.
It dropped off immediately in player base.
And so they're still putting stuff out for it, right? So they're like, okay.
Trying to, anyway.
So, okay, give it away for free. We're probably going to snag some people. They're going to come in. They're already going to have the game. Buy the DLC. Shovel them in.
Yeah, this is one of those that I'm really. You and I have sat down and talked about PlayStation Plus. The amount of content that they've given us, for free, is ungodly. I mean, titles like Bloodborne, one of the greatest hits of the PlayStation 4.
The Phantom Pain.
The Phantom Pain.
The PS5.
Yeah, for sure. Mad Max is a great title that they gave away not long ago, a couple months ago.
They did both Quantum Breaks, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls, around the time that they did the new Detroit Become Human game.
Yeah, so they've given away a lot of stuff, basically at a very low cost. I paid $100 for my copy of Destiny 2. That gave me the base game plus the first season pass. This is one of those that you only get part of the DLC with the season pass. And almost immediately, I was like, okay, cool. Bungie actually put a story in this game. The gameplay's essentially still the same, but it's a little bit better of a game. And then when it became time to grind and do all the stuff that I learned to semi-enjoy in Destiny 1, it wasn't fun at all. And my two very good friends that have kept me playing Destiny don't want to play it anymore because it's just pathetic. So then the first DLC drops. I play it about 3 months later. The second DLC drops. I haven't touched but maybe 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
It's not worth $100, let alone $60. The game is, in my opinion, kind of pathetic. And Bungie wants to wash their hands of that franchise anyway.
There was that big rumor mill that we'd heard about them trying to either sell the IP back to Activision or whatever, and it kind of like died down after a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was all the rage for about 2 weeks, and then all of that information just disappeared. No one was talking about it anymore. So the ball is in Bungie's court at this point. I'm really interested to see what they do with the IP. I really want Destiny as a franchise to succeed because they've done a lot. The game is obviously uber popular for a lot of reasons. But this Destiny 2 is just terrible. Just overall terrible.
Destiny 2 should have just been an add-on for
Absolutely.
Destiny 1. Period. Hands down. It was fun. I enjoyed the game a lot, but it's just, as you said, it gets boring. It's like immediately boring. It's cool. I got a story. You do a couple of the rage. Like, yeah, these are cool, and then I'm done. It just literally dies.
Yep.
Immediately.
Now, does that make you worried about Anthem? Or is that going to be a whole other beast compared to Destiny?
I think it's going to be similar in a lot of ways. And I think for some people, they're going to have kind of the same opinion, that I just laid out, that, okay, I finished the story and this isn't fun anymore. I think with it being a third-person, like, action, exploration, looter shooter, I think it'll be a little bit more interesting. It might maintain some attention spans for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Than Destiny for sure did.
Well, hopefully their story making skills, even though we have not seen much, they say, this is going to be a BioWare type story. Don't be afraid, guys. We're still going to have a lot of that.
And that's what I was going to get to next, because BioWare has a pedigree. As big of a flop for a lot of people, or as far as the industry considers it, Andromeda was. It wasn't bad enough that they said we are never making another Mass Effect game ever. They said that we're going to put the IP on ice, and then Casey Hudson came back in, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have talked about it recently, but
yeah.
Casey Hudson came out and flat out said, hey, we are making another Dragon Age game, and we are making another Mass Effect game.
There's no way we could get rid of those IPs and make us too much money.
And now you have, the Commander Shepard. You have Casey Hudson back in charge of the studio. This guy knows how to make a Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about the Mass Effect 3 ending. This guy is the right one to be steering the ship.
Yes.
So
I've said that
for
either
IP. So I have a lot of I have a very low expectation for Anthem, but I have very how do I want to say it? I'm really interested to see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be good enough that this will be another successful IP for the studio. But I don't know that it's going to be a record-breaking game by any means. It's not going to be God of War.
No, I don't think so either. I liked this year how they really took a time to try and show you a lot of gameplay, even though it seemed pretty scripted. The
gameplay looked good, though.
It
looks very
good.
pretty.
It does. It makes me I know BioWare knows how to make a game. Not the BioWare that made Andromeda, which the gameplay-wise for that game was good.
The gameplay was fantastic.
It's all the little stuff that was just really awful about that game at launch. BioWare itself, the main, like Edmonton, is that where they're based out of?
Yes.
The main team, they know what the hell they're doing. They're making a game. And I have no doubt this game is going to work. At least they better. On that flip side, though, it's like, it does worry me a tad. Get out of here. Get out of here. It does worry me a tad that we have seen very, very, very little of what story is in this. I've heard...
Zero.
what story is given to us has been in the gameplay stuff that we've seen.
Right.
I know that they're trying to showcase that and really showcase that to show you that this is a vast world. This is a big place for you to roam around in, to do stuff with your friends, drop in and out. A lot of that stuff seems cool, and I like that. The only thing that I don't like is, man, to coordinate that well with my friends to go play something is difficult already.
Right.
It's difficult to just meet up and have coffee or do anything.
Right.
And with our adult lives. And that's one reason why, like, man, it's like Fallout 76 seems cool. When am I going to really have time to play that? Because how I'm making schedules for myself in gaming, I'm almost coordinating it with how I'm going to be trying to stream.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to line up with when he can always play games.
Right.
Or you or anybody else. And so, they say you can play Fallout by yourself, and I really hope you can do so with Anthem. I've heard that.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I've heard that Anthem can be a totally single-player experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me a little bit less weary about how the game's going to play out at launch. I read an article, I can't remember, it was from one of the guys at BioWare. He said that the content might be a little bit lacking as far as endgame stuff, like the first month of launch, but after that there's going to be so much endgame stuff to do, and like meaningful endgame stuff to do, that the issues, and the whole article was about how Anthem is going to differ from Destiny, and they said it shouldn't be an issue at all because there is going to be so much meaningful endgame content that it'll be an afterthought.
We'll see.
I mean, obviously, you gotta pump your numbers up, but
yeah.
I'm not as worried about it as I was 6 months ago, for sure.
I mean, when I watched it the last time, I haven't seen anything new. I haven't seen the 42 minutes of gameplay that they've released. I didn't watch that.
That wasn't a whole lot different than all of the other gameplay that you've already seen.
And I've seen it. The only thing I've seen is like it just says the eye of the storm. Get your buddies, go do this. That's the only real thing that I've seen that's been very sufficient into this world of whatever this world is. Like, we know what it is, and kind of a really vague story of, hey, you build your javelins, you go out, do missions. I don't know if you're pulling supplies in. None of that stuff's been told.
Right.
That's what worries me, is that literally, as he said, no storyline, nothing. It's just nothing. You've got, here's our gameplay. We know you like it. We know you like it. Personally, I don't care. Like, as long as the gameplay is close to Mass Effect, which it looks identical to Mass Effect. Okay, cool, I get it. It's Mass Effect. I play Mass Effect a lot. I know what's going on. Show me what you're going to be giving me. Don't be saying, well, this is it. Well, here's how big the world is. We get it. I want to know what's going to happen. I need to know that when I buy this game, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't want to buy it and then get a Destiny where I'm like, well, yeah, this sucks. Cool, I played it for a month and now I hate it.
Right.
I don't want that, because it seems that this is a Destiny clone to a degree. Obviously, it's a Destiny clone with a Mass Effect twist to it, in my opinion. It's got the 3 powers.
That's what I thought when I first saw Destiny. I'm like, well, this is them trying to do like a mix mash of Halo and Mass Effect.
Pretty much.
And that's the first thing I thought of. So if you got the Mass Effect guys going, we can do that better, which I hope that's what they're doing.
Right.
Taking that same kind of mindset and that same approach to a game like Anthem.
My one thing that's going to hurt Anthem is, when is Red Dead coming out?
October.
Wait,
like Anthem doesn't
wait
come
before.
out until
What games come out?
Oh,
Division.
Dude, there's a lot of games.
Division 2.
Yeah, in February there's a lot of games that come out.
Actually, Division comes out the same day as Anthem.
I don't think the Division 2 is going to really hurt Anthem sales, because the Division suffered from a lot of the same syndrome that Destiny 1 and 2 have.
Yeah.
I was one of the people that bought Division on launch day because it's a game that Ubisoft had been teasing for a couple years. And at first I thought it was going to be like a post-apocalyptic, zombie shooter. It ended up not being that. And, for the couple months that I played it, it was really, really fun. But the same thing as Destiny, once you got to that grind stage, it was, why am I grinding to do the same thing that I've already done 100 times just so I can grind and do that same thing another 100 times?
in a
It doesn't
different
make any
place.
sense, you know?
Here we go.
Okay, so at the end of January, on the 25th, you have RE2 Remake. And then on the 29th, just a few days later, Kingdom Hearts 3. And then in February, on the same day, you have Anthem, Days Gone, and Metro Exodus.
God, I'm going to be so broke in February.
Days Gone is the one I'm getting. I'm going to wait on Anthem and see what everybody says.
I'm getting... Metro Exodus will be the first one that I get. The Metro Redux, 2033 and Last Light is one of the greatest first-person survival shooters I've ever played. Ever. Hands down. The story's fantastic. The gameplay's fantastic. It looks pretty after they remastered it. It's great. It's a very underappreciated franchise. Days Gone, when there was the talks about it being delayed and then, the game might possibly be canceled, about 6 months ago. I got really worried because all of the gameplay that that trailer that they released the first time around with the Horde and he's running and, taking different paths and doing all that stuff. That was just a cool sequence. It had a very Last of Us feel, but, I mean, it's like comparing Resident Evil to 28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Dawn of the Dead to 28 Days Later. It's like, well, this concept's pretty similar, but they put their own spin on it, and this looks really freaking cool. So Days Gone is another one that I'm really excited for, but I'm going to be so freaking broke at the first of the year.
March 15th is Division 2.
Yeah.
So
See,
that's exactly like a month later.
RE2 is my
Oh,
jam.
yeah. I mean,
that's
that
where
just
I'm
goes
going to be
without
stuck.
saying.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything else.
I took advantage of the last few days of the Amazon Prime deal, which there are no more, guys. It's gone. Bye-bye, which I've got something to add to that in a minute. And I went ahead and pre-ordered the deluxe version of RE2, which gives me the other guns, the other outfits, and the original soundtrack from the,
So there's no more copies of that available anywhere? Is that
No,
what,
that's
is that
not,
what you were getting at?
No, he's saying that the 20% discount for pre-ordered games is
20%
total.
discount for Prime is done. You can't do that anymore.
Damn.
Now they give you a $10 gift card to put towards future purchases.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
I buy enough stuff off of Amazon. That's okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I do too, so I don't really care.
For some things, sure. But for other things, I want that discount now.
Right. No, I get it. I totally get it.
Well, see, that's okay with me because as long as that goes with all my collector's editions, because I don't get the 20% off for Fallout 76 edition, the Power Armor edition.
You should be able to put that towards the
So, well, no, not towards. If I get it and pre-order it, do I get my gift card still? Because I don't get anything now with when I pre-order the Power Armor edition, I don't get 20% off. So if I pre-order
I don't know
it now, would it be, here's your $10 gift card with that? Because now I'm actually getting something off of it because I didn't get anything off of it.
Right. I don't know.
I also pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3. I wasn't going to do that because it's so close to RE2. I'm going to be playing RE2.
Right.
But then I saw that gameplay from Gamescom with the Toy Story World.
Yeah.
And I went.
So, right.
Got me right there again. You got me hooked.
This is one of those things that I wanted to ask you. How cool or how excited do you think Wyatt's going to be when you sit down to play Kingdom Hearts 3 and he walks in the room and says, "Whoa, that's Toy Story."
Dude, he is so into Toy Story right now.
Yeah.
He quotes it. Like,
Jesse.
He'll say, "Here, you wear my hat." And I'll put on his hat, and he'll say, "Who has my hat?" And I have to say, "Hi, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy." And he goes, "Aha, aha, give me that." With that same tone.
Right.
And then he even goes, "Buzz, buzz, 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 Lightyear to the rescue," when he's getting punched. He does that. He finds so much joy and satisfaction out of the sad, tear-inducing scene from 2 where Jessie's getting abandoned by her owner, and he loves that song. I'm like, you are a sadistic little shit.
It's better than Havana Oh Na Na, right?
He's obsessed with music and all kinds of music.
That's good.
Which is awesome. But it's almost to the point where he's obsessive, to where it's like, I get home, "Hi, Daddy, we can listen to song." I'm home, so I'm like, oh. That's what I am to you now.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You're the song man. Dance, monkey, dance.
And so I played one song for him the other day, and he was like, "We can now listen to Law and Order song." And I'm like, "No, I said one song." no, he can listen. I'm like, no, dude, you're not in charge. He loves a Law and Order song.
Hey, I mean, who doesn't?
We were in Walmart one day a few weeks ago, just me and him rolling through, and he's going, do 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 do, tone tone. I'm like, I remember my wife was watching that one time, and it came up as funky mystery music.
Nice.
On the subtitle. Speaking of, I wish real life had subtitles.
Yes.
Random thought for the day. I just wish real life had subtitles.
God, we'd be in so much trouble.
Oh, dude, I know. Well, like, especially when you said stuff under your breath, for other people didn't hear. But sometimes I have such a hard time hearing people.
I would definitely be screwed.
So Amazon Prime got rid of their 20% off deal, which it got announced like a week ago. You had it like a week to get on there and
I didn't even see that announcement.
Dude, they snuck it in there.
They did.
With Gamers Club from Best Buy going away. They also got rid of a lot of Twitch Prime. They got rid of like unlimited ad-free viewing, so you can't do that anymore. But
all the Twitch Prime benefits are still there, right? Besides that,
I think
you still get the free in-game stuff.
I think you do, yeah.
The free subscription.
Yes. I'm pretty sure you do get that. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that the only change to that I saw was a big deal was the whole ad thing. So one thing that bugged me is that I couldn't pre-order Spider-Man. And that's where I pre-order my games is Amazon. I don't like to go to the Devil's Playground to GameStop and do that. I do it through Amazon, especially with the whole deal, right? And so forever and ever and ever, it was unavailable. Until Tuesday, the day after Amazon ended their deal. And now
sneaky bastards.
Now you can pre-order Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up today because I wanted to pre-order Spider-Man on Amazon, and I've been watching it for like the last 6-8 weeks. Because I get on the Amazon app a couple days to check out the deals and my recommended stuff based on my shopping trends and stuff like it. Because I've found some pretty cool things just by going through that list of recommended items. And every day I've checked up on Spider-Man, and it's like, why the hell is this unavailable?
Especially with it coming up so soon, right?
Well, and I was so tempted to buy another console and get that Spider-Man edition PS4. I was so freaking tempted. I was sitting in my living room staring at my PlayStation, and I turned it on, and it still worked. And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. But I wanted to get that, and it wouldn't let me pre-order that either.
No.
So
they were up for a while on Amazon. They were, because a guy we work with, Jeremiah. Hi, Jeremiah, if you're watching or listening. He got one.
Did he get one?
He got one, yep.
That's awesome.
Did he get struck by lightning or he had a power surge?
It was lightning. Either one, I think.
Because his PS4 Pro got messed up, and he took it in, and they said, yeah, it's unrepairable. So
and then I sent him a hard drive and stuff to see if it was just nothing.
So then he's like, yeah, I guess I'm going to get another one. He goes, I'm going to try and get that. And then literally I saw they were up, and then they were gone. And I'm like, I saw him. I'm like, yesterday. He goes, got the Spider-Man one. I'm like,
nice.
Yes. I'm like, he goes, I just happened to look right when they put it up. I'm like,
well, I'm glad.
Cool.
I'm glad I know somebody that got one because I'm really jealous of your God of War one. I wanted one of those really bad.
You know what?
But that Spider-Man one is so pretty.
When I got one, I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it. But now that I really like God of War, I really like it. Yeah. In fact, I want to take the engravings on the axe and put that on my scrapers at work.
Nice.
I want to have that. It was just something I really dig that game. By the way, God of War is now available in publication in book form as a novel and audiobook.
Huh.
They are doing that now, and also go and check out some of the stuff that the director has put out. It's very interesting to go and watch and see what went through the making of this game and how much weight was on that man's shoulders.
Corey Barlog is the guy's name.
Yes. Basically, this game was almost unplayable from like 6 months to release. Like, it was 6 months away. It was still like unplayable, and Shuhei was like not digging it. And he had told he came to play it, and the dude said he was wincing and not good body language, and then he just left. A couple days later, Shuei was at a party that this guy's friends was also at. They introduced the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm working on God of War." He goes, "Oh, I got to play that. I was horrified." And he goes, "Man, that's just not good." And then in that 6-month period, they got that game up to snuff and released that game. It is unreal.
That's a testament though to their team.
Yes,
that they could do that in that short amount of time.
And also, it also makes his YouTube video he uploaded the day that the embargo got lifted for the reviews, and he got to see all the reviews coming in, and it's like relief.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the most successful first party Sony release
ever,
and the quickest selling. It's like it reached 3 million in what like a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 days.
And now
it reached 3.1 million in 4 days.
And now it's sitting at over 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just for that. I mean, that's awesome.
And they just recently released New Game Plus.
Yeah.
So now you can go back and play through the game again with all of your goodies that you've acquired, all of your skills. And I'm definitely going to go back. This holiday season when I've got some time off of work and I just want to relax and, get enthralled with something again that's not, all the new releases. I'll go back. I'll definitely go back and dive into New Game Plus. I watched an interview that came out like the month that God of War was released, and it was Barlog talking about how, when he took over that team, he's a former Sony employee. When he took over that team, he was used to basically assembly line style. The programmers are doing one thing. When they're done, we're going on to the next one. And when the artists are done, then we're going on to the next one. And he said he took over that team, and then Boss Man says, "Hey, here's all these people. They're already working on this. They're all at different stages of completion. Make it work." And then basically shut the door and locked it and said, you don't have any choice other than to make this work. And he said it was just overwhelming because artists were farther along than the programmers were, and then, on and on and on. Playtesters were way far behind where everybody else was and then they were behind or in front of everybody, and he said it was just total chaos. And then exactly what you said, it was unplayable, and 6 months later they nail it.
I've never loved the God of War game. They're fun. I enjoyed them. I loved this game.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how anybody couldn't.
It's not so much the fact that that it is a God of War game. It is a good game. Like it,
I've yet to touch it.
Oh my God!
The
man.
fact that it is a God of
why?
Just not a fan at all.
Not a fan of what?
God of War. Period.
This isn't God of War.
I will pick it up one day.
This is Last of Us quality story.
I'll pick it up one
with
day.
some of the best gameplay of any single player game I've ever picked up.
There are hints of the old God of War stuff in here to make you kind of feel like, okay, this fits in the universe. But it's like basically like, what if we made that game today? But then let's throw this idea on top of it. What if that were almost kind of like a Zelda game?
Let's amp it up so hard the damn knob falls off. That's the new God of War.
Past 11.
Yeah, no, we're going past 11.
I was floored. I was so upset when I finished that game that I couldn't have been, because I think I finished it the week after you and Blaine did the show for this show, talking all about it, and I was so mad that I couldn't have been on that because I had just had so much shit to talk about. Like it is such good storytelling. It is like such great gameplay, and it's a big and open world.
But being closed and not overwhelming.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? That's a perfect segue, because I wanted to talk about how they're doing the big and open world in Cyberpunk. We got to see some gameplay from that, about 48 minutes. I haven't watched all of it.
Hell yeah.
And
did you watch it? Did you
I
watch
watched
all 48 minutes?
Not all 48.
Oh my God, you guys need to finish it. You need to watch the whole thing.
I got maybe a quarter of the way through, maybe a third. I'm digging it. I didn't know what I was going to feel about it, because, I mean, this is the team that did The Witchers and great games. This is a completely different animal. I love Blade Runner, so I love that kind of dystopian esque future, and then the look, the lights, and all that stuff, the steam, everything.
Well, it's like Blade Runner meets Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Meets, Total Recall.
Yep.
Meets, you can just keep plugging
all
stuff
those
in there.
different types.
And
yeah.
it all, I watched all 48 minutes, and that 48 minutes was good enough that I almost sat down and watched it over again just to see what I missed the first 48 minutes that I watched it.
Huh.
Cyberpunk, I was very weary. I have very high expectations from CD Projekt Red because of what such a small studio has, turned into, from a studio that started in someone's garage to being, one of the strongest. They have the country of Poland, where they're from, is actually behind their studio. Mm-hmm. Their government finances part of their studio, so they have their entire country behind what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's big. That means a lot to me. But I've played through The Witcher 3 four or five times now at this point. To me, it's almost the gold standard of RPGs at this point because it's so well done. Storytelling, the score is fantastic. On and on and on. I can't rave enough about that game. So I had really high expectations when Cyberpunk was announced, and then they said it's going to be a first-person RPG, and then I instantly said, nope, I'm not interested in this at all.
It turned me off.
It was an instant buzzkill.
It definitely turned me off. I'm not big. Anybody who's been listening to this for any amount of time knows that I'm very wishy-washy with my first person. It's got to be the right game at the right time at the right feel. This past Fallout 4 was the first game I've actually played more in first person than any other because it actually felt good.
Right. They definitely did a good job with that. I shit on that game a lot, but they nailed that.
For Fallout 3, I kept mixing. If I was inside close quarters, first person. Outside, I was third person. For that game, I was all first. But when I saw the gameplay and its fluidity and them going from area to area, I'm like, I might be able to do this. I definitely might be able to do this. And then, of course, you see a little bit more. You get going. You see a little bit of the action. You're like, this is cool because they're finally doing a game in this setting. Mm-hmm. I love games that take you to another world, another fantasy world, whether that's sci-fi or old medieval crap, whatever. But how many games have you ever played that actually took this era or this kind of dystopian future and said, "Here, let's explore the whole city"? And I like that because it's a big open world, but with it being just a city and not like where The Witcher, where you have a bunch of different areas. It felt like a big region.
Had full continents.
Yeah, you had region. It was like, this is the world. This is going to be bigger yet smaller scale. Mm-hmm. And I like that a lot. Hopefully it gives you a lot more interiors to go and check out. It makes it feel like you are, just like where we are. We go from city to city. We don't go from region to region typically too often.
Right.
For where you live and where you stay at.
And we try to avoid the region.
We do, yeah. Good old region.
What's really cool about Cyberpunk, and it really attests to how awesome CD Projekt Red is. So the creator of Cyberpunk, which originally is a tabletop, pen and paper RPG, that guy has been having video game companies pitch him ideas since the late 80s. And CD Projekt Red is the first one that he said, you know what? I think you guys can do it. I think you guys can do my game enough justice. This world that I've created. I think that you can do enough justice that I'm going to allow you to do it. They are the only ones. And, I watched an interview with him and one of the main people from that studio not long ago. And, he was throwing out numbers, and I'm sure they were a little bit exaggerated to get his point across. But studio after studio has offered him enough money to retire, obnoxiously retire over and over again. And he said, no, you are not going to pollute the world that I've created with, something that's subpar.
Right.
And then this tiny developer from Poland rolls up and says, hey, we want to give this a shot. and he let them do it. He said, you guys are good enough. And that's really cool for me.
Yeah.
So this was a Q&A hosted by the studio, and they confirmed that you will not have a game over game or for failing a quest. You can fail quest, said Philip Weber, the game's designer, but we don't, however, have a game over state. The only game over that you get is when you die. So when you fail a quest, that is now part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with the consequences.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can
that's exactly like tabletoping.
Like every mission you can tackle, like it has so many different ways that you can tackle it, and you can adapt on the fly and do all that cool stuff. But then I read that yesterday. So I mean, if you screw up, and I mean, unless you reload a save or something and go back and redo it, and even if you do that, it's not going to play out the same way. We're not going No Man's Sky procedurally generated everything by any means.
Right.
But it's just completely fluid. Like you killed one less guy or one too many guys and you fucked up.
Yep.
Now you got to deal with it. You talked to the wrong person. Now you got to deal with it. And I think if this game launches the way that I imagine it's going to be industry changing.
I can see
Personally, I think it's going to be just with their ability, with their high caliber of storytelling, and then if the gameplay continues, throughout the entire game to be as good as what I watched in that 48 minutes, the industry is going to change. They're going to have to try and match that.
It looked way better than I thought it was going to.
Yes.
That's what excited me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was trying to figure out what it was going to be like, what it was going to look like, what it was going to feel like, some of it was right on there, and some of it wasn't. I liked the whole interactivity within, like, the game felt seamless, even when you're selecting dialogue while the character's moving around. It wasn't the whole, like, what we've been used to maybe in the last generation where we had, like the Mass Effect thing. We go back to that. It's like
the old dialogue wheel.
Well, it was.
I should go.
I should go.
You should go.
Stand there for 45 minutes while I'm sleeping, and then just.
Why is he staring into my soul?
And then, it was very fluid. Everything was so fluid. I thought I recognized the voice actor of one of the dudes. Was that his name? John DiMaggio?
I think so.
The voice of Bender.
Yeah, I think so.
From Futurama. I swear that was him. Because, man, that sounds just like him. Or also Waka from Final Fantasy X and Kimari as well. Who rarely talks in that entire game.
Right.
But still, I thought I recognized him. I thought I recognized one of the gals on the radio. Like, it's not her, but they have a similar effect on the voice of what they did for Edie in Mass Effect. I'm like, I'm really digging how they're shaping this story, what they're doing, right as you're playing along. Right as you're going along. I felt fluid to me. And then, of course, I like when they took the body out of the
tub.
Out of the tub, you could choose to carry it or not. And then the emergency response team shows up, and they're like telling you to get the hell back.
You can choose to stand there or get back.
Yeah, and it looks like just a massive city to go run around in, and that's going to be fun to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Allergies are really bad today.
It's a good thing I have another guy.
The vehicle sequences looked really cool.
Yeah.
It looked like they've got the driving mechanics down. I hate to steal your verbiage and say it looks fluid, but I mean, getting in the car, getting in the car and then driving and then doing anything else while they're driving. It doesn't feel choppy. Even games like Grand Theft Auto, you're driving around, and there's a lot of times that it's pretty choppy. Oh, shit, I smashed into another car. Now I got to spend 10 minutes trying to go straight again.
One of my favorite games I ever did, like the fluid motion to gameplay mechanic, was like MGS5. Did that so well.
Absolutely.
Where you felt like you went straight from cinematic right into gameplay. And yeah, dude, I'm very excited. We don't have a release anything idea for this. My guess is probably not until like at least late next year, if not 2020.
I was going to say like early fall next year. I think that's reasonable. If I remember right, The Witcher released like February of 2013 when it came out.
The first one?
Yeah, no.
2014.
2014, thank you. I think February sounds right for that. I can't remember exactly. I've played that game enough, I should know. I was really worried that it was going to be very cartoony. Mm-hmm. Because, some of the original promotional material that they released was very cartoony, almost to the extent of some of the stuff that Rage 2 has put out, the last couple months. And that worried me. But the game is so damn pretty. At least what they've shown us.
Yes.
It's so pretty.
And
that,
The Witcher 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gameplay demo, that was shown at E3 behind closed doors, apparently. What we got?
May 19th.
2015.
2015.
See, I thought it was before that, but
It's not so bad.
Now,
either way,
Witcher 2.
the first part of the year. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Witcher 2
No,
was
it came
on
out.
360.
It came
It
out
was
in
May
May too.
17, 2011.
Yeah. So I mean, they've got that May track record. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see it the first part of next year. I highly doubt it.
I think we would have heard something for next year, early part by now.
Unless they really want to shock the world and do something at like PlayStation Experience.
Since it's possible, but I wouldn't see them releasing a date until next E3.
Right.
They did that big reveal. They did this game thing. We might see one other thing before, in between, maybe like an updated stuff. Oh, we saw you that we gave you 48 minutes, and now let's look at this certain aspect of this over here.
Yeah, that's definitely a pipe dream. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
however long it takes them, I'm willing to wait.
And that's my thing too. Of course, with the new consoles on the horizon, we don't know what's looming on that. We talked about, I think last week was rumors that PlayStation 5 could start production as early as of next year, depending on parts. And that's when they're going to decide how and when they're going to release it, as if they can meet demand. Because apparently some of the ceramic parts that they're putting in it is in high demand. So that's another whole aspect of when you're we could launch here, but like you need to make sure you have enough because they know people are going to line up to get it.
Well, especially with as successful as the PS4 has been, your demand is only going to go up exponentially from what the demand of that console was when it released.
As long as it's reverse compatible.
With PS4, it needs to be.
I think even if it's not, which I think Sony is intelligent enough at this point that it's gonna have to be.
The only reason why PS3
I think people will
isn't-
still buy it.
The only reason why PS3 isn't is just because of the architecture.
Right.
Can they do it? Yes. Obviously, with playing PS3 titles through the cloud. Of course, that whole download stuff that I mentioned earlier, I want to correct myself kind of and say at start it's only going to be PS4 games that are downloadable. We don't know if PS2 or the PS3 stuff is going to be. PS2 will probably come, I imagine, because a lot of those games are already downloadable anyway off the store.
I just want PlayStation 1 games.
Me too.
That's all I want.
Me too. They took away our CD drive.
Yeah.
Our CD laser's no longer in the PS4. Yeah. There's no CD support. That's why, that's one reason why you can't put custom music in games.
Right.
And
Stick around a little bit. I'll show you something.
But we've been doing something here on the show where we've been trying to find the greatest controller of all time.
Yes.
And we have now reached the quarterfinals. And voting ended yesterday. Just to remind everybody of what those matchups were, we had some.
I showed him his picture, his game over picture of him.
Nice.
Yep. All right. So the matchups we had for the quarterfinals for the greatest controller of all time were the Switch Pro controller versus the DualShock 3, the N64 controller versus the DualShock 4.
I'm a little bit disappointed that the N64 controller went farther than the GameCube controller.
I am very
just have
upset
to say
about that.
Tell you what, there was one. The first round, the N64 controller got more votes than any other controller. Some dude shared it on Twitch and said N64 for the win, and probably got a bunch of his friends to vote for it. the Wii U Pro Controller versus the Xbox 360 controller. And then the DualShock 1, the OG old school dual stick controller versus the original D-pad, the NES controller. I will say this. Mike and I voted last week here on the show that it's got to be an honor system. We actually did. I wrote down which one I voted for, and I know he did too, because I didn't want us to be influenced by these numbers. Because when I'm tallying these up, I haven't done that. I've kept voting for ones. I kept my vote true even if I knew it was like way lost.
Yeah.
Or even if I knew it was on that cusp or if a tiebreaker, like what was I going to go for? Even if part of me wants to see the other one win too, I stayed with it. But as a change of pace, we did it on the show last year, a year ago we did it. A week ago we voted. I will tell you this: there is one tie. There is one blowout. There is one that is winning by 2 and one that's winning by 1.
Okay.
And Tyler, you already voted.
I've every round so far I've voted.
Awesome, and we thank you so much for
Yeah.
that. So, Switch Pro Controller versus DualShock 3, Mike.
Wait, I got to pull up my notes. Well, I was looking at. I have to pull up the bracket too, so
okay.
be easy. So it was the Switch Pro versus
The DualShock 3.
Switch Pro.
You voted Switch Pro?
Yep.
As did I. So that wins 8-4. It was already winning. The next one, the N64 versus the DualShock 4.
DualShock 4.
DualShock 4. Blowout. That was the blowout.
Yes! Thank
That was
God,
the
get that freaking
Finally,
boomerang out of there.
Finally, the 64 controller has been taken down.
I think
Jesus.
on Twitter I said, will it be the modern day, hero or the three-headed beast or whatever I called it? The Wii U Pro Controller versus the Xbox 360.
360.
I voted for 360 as well. That wins.
Yeah.
The 360 controller beat out the Pro controller?
It did. It was
Well, the
winning by
Wii
1.
U Pro
Yeah, that's
controller.
what I'm saying.
The Wii U Pro Controller, it was only down by 1, so if you had voted, or if we both voted for that one, it would have won. Well, we voted for Xbox 360. You ready for this one? This one is a tie.
Well, I know what mine
DualShock
is.
1 versus the NES is the most even amount of votes. What did you vote?
NES.
As did I. NES goes forward.
Damn.
I knew that it was going to make it that far,
So-
at least. Once it took down the Duke.
The NES got past the Xbox S controller, the smaller version, and then it took out the Duke. Now it takes out the
It's out for blood.
It is.
Well,
But
not
it's-
out of as much blood as the 64.
Right.
But I guess it was only up against Sega controllers, so I could see that.
It did defeat 2 Sega controllers, and it lost to the DualShock 4. But now we have the next round. The semifinals are here, folks. Voting goes live. If you're watching this on our test live stream tomorrow when this show goes up, and I got home from work, I'm making the new bracket. I'm making the new votes. We're going to see the Switch Pro Controller versus the DualShock 4.
That's going to be an interesting one. I believe that the 4 will win because more people have had their hands on a 4
That's
than
what
they
I-
have
you know
on
what? You know
the
what?
Switch Pro.
All right, that's what I thought too. Okay, but I was shocked. Shocked.
I see
Yeah.
DualShock 3 got as far as it did, and was only 2 votes behind the Pro.
Yeah.
And I mean that controller is pretty universally disliked.
Mm-hmm. I still think they should have done the batarang controller, the banana controller.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Sony. I want a banana controller for my PlayStation 5.
Do it now.
Make it fucking happen.
Do it now.
So, Mike, Switch Pro Controller versus DualShock 4, lock in your vote.
We're going live with them?
I'm not saying what it is, but lock in your vote now.
Okay. Let me clear my notes out and do it again. This same thing. I don't want to lock them in now. I want to, you know what? You know what I want to do right now?
Huh.
Are you going to go test them?
They're right here.
Let me see that Switch Pro controller. Because I haven't held one yet.
I mean, I have them right here.
Feels good.
I'm
The
telling
ergonomics of that controller are great. The only thing that could be possibly improved are the triggers, which are only buttons.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like that.
You get used to it, but literally everything else about that controller feels phenomenal.
It fits my hands perfectly.
That is the best feeling Nintendo controller they've put out since the Cube, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really dig that.
I feel it with that one. See, this one just it sits right when you put it in your hand. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
This one fits me good too. The only thing is, I mean, if they shorten this up by like an inch and made it just an inch shorter,
Yeah.
it would be exactly the same as that for me.
For me, it's the stick location. That's a big deal to me because
Now-
I like the stick location.
See, this has always been okay for me.
See, it hasn't been for me. This is it right here.
I feel
Boom.
like that the PS4 controller stick location thing with their ergonomic of that controller is much better than the original DualShock to DualShock 3
Agreed.
variant, where the natural placement of your thumb rests right there. That's one thing about the 360 that I like. Is that your thumb rested. It was at rest. It's the same thing as that one. It just boom.
The only improvement this could have is real triggers.
Yes.
Not buttons.
Now, the only improvement that the 4 can have is better sticks.
Oh yeah.
Over time, when I play with those sticks, my fingers slip. And I played God of War with the God of War controller, which is the original sticks. I did not replace them, and they're fine.
I accidentally turned it on.
Well, that tends to happen with these newer consoles.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you barely blow air on that button and it'll
Yeah.
turn
I know.
the console on.
The other controllers, my blue controller and my original black one, have the Xbox One sticks on it. And they sit a little higher, and they have a little bit more grip, and, man, they are comfy on that controller. But obviously, not everybody can do that, and, of course, as we figured out, they have kind of changed the innards as they go along with these controllers, and to make it a little more difficult to do that.
Yeah, we can no longer.
I bet there's a way. We just
haven't.
Well, because the one he had me do it on, he made me open up the Darth Vader controller, and I was like very nervous.
You blasphemer.
I
Well,
was nervous.
it's because like she wanted to use it a lot. Like I told her, I was like, I don't really want to open it. She's like, well, I use it a lot, and I really like this one. I'm like, okay, like let's do it. And then we open it up, and I'm like, too far. Put it back. Put it back. We're too far.
Okay, sir.
I locked it in.
You locked it in?
I locked it in.
The next semifinal battle is the Xbox 360 versus the NES controller.
It's a hard one.
That's a no-brainer for me. But
I mean, if you're looking at, like, the Xbox 360 controller was a standard bearer for that era.
Oh yeah.
Even still today, some people still prefer that over the Xbox One variant.
But
the NES is the first D-pad. It is simplistic. It's very rough around the edges, no pun intended.
it works.
But man, I cannot imagine.
it is the gateway to what we have now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
absolutely.
hardest part for me is that. Yeah, I'm not real fond of the controller itself, but if it wasn't for that, we would be sitting
that's
here with
one
the
reason-
gaming today.
Another reason that's what made the last one so hard for me to figure out was the DualShock 1 versus that, because the DualShock 1 took that basic layout, the buttons or the D-pad and buttons, and then added the dual sticks, and that pretty much we've kept that same layout.
I'm locking it in. I got confirmation. It's locked in.
I am locked in as well.
That was also my vote. That will be my vote anyway.
I love that. I love it. I don't want to say it out loud, but
I am locked in as well. We are going to check out that next week on the podcast to figure out which controllers move on. I have a good
that's
idea.
why I like that one so much.
I have an idea of what's going to go forward on each. Of course, you guys can help shape that. If you go vote on our Facebook page, the polls will be live, same as Twitter. Guess what? If you go to both, you get 2 votes. So, so if you are so adamant that Switch Pro controller must move on, it is the new standard bearer for what a controller should feel like.
He's got it here. He's like, I got to.
And you're like, you know what? I'm going against the grain here. I'm not going to go with this new PlayStation controller. I'm going with that. You can make that twofold.
If it was triggers, that would be the dominant.
See, I think over time, I might actually like the buttons more than the triggers.
Well, it depends on what
I
you're
think
playing.
over time,
Again, we'll see. And the thing with
as
the
long
Switch,
as the contact switches don't wear out in like 6 months. You know what I mean?
the thing with the Switch is that there's so many different ways to play with the Joy-Cons, with that. And when I'm at home and my console's docked,
You want me
I'm
to
using
go
that.
turn it off so that you don't feel obligated to touch anything?
No.
I love the Pro Controller. I also love my DualShock 4. It's very difficult for me because quite literally for me, the pros and cons, like one for each. Maybe the battery life for the 4, and then like I just that Wii U.
I haven't charged this since I bought it. Just so you know, I have played
Octo for hours.
30, 40 hours.
That's some battery life now.
It does have some battery. It has killer battery life. It
But,
also
I
has
mean-
some heft to it too.
I
When
mean,
you hold
it's got some weight, but the way it sits,
it
it
doesn't,
just
it doesn't
it's
look
boom.
like it would be that comfortable in your hands when you hold it. But when you do, man, it's just like the buttons are a little bit bigger.
Pretty sure this is dead now. I mean, we're talking.
I want to hold it. I want to hold it.
No,
Give me the controllers.
I'll turn it on.
So they are releasing a.
I might have charged it once. I want to say I want to charge it once because 40 hours—that's phenomenal. There's
Yeah.
no controller. I don't think it is, but
They are releasing a Smash Brothers variant of this.
look at
So the
oh.
grips over here will be white, and I'll have the big white logo. That's already went on pre-order and sold out. So
Good luck, Tyler.
Damn.
but when you get a Switch, and I actually play mine more in handheld mode because I'll be out in the living room with the kid. Let this up a little bit. I'd charge it, take it out, play it for 5 minutes, and then let it go dead. That's kind of what that's my shtick right
That's
now.
the thing, yeah.
But when I do play docked, I played a little bit with the Joy-Cons. It's okay. This is where you go. I was playing Skyrim with this.
Well,
It's comfy.
you and I have talked about it a lot because I have a couple times delayed when I'm going to purchase a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And now I pretty much have that date locked in. It's going to be right around Thanksgiving when I grab one. It won't be on Black Friday because I'll be on vacation.
You turned it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did it.
But I didn't get into your system. Did you have your little press the button 3 times to get into your system?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So all I did was I pressed the home button. This also has the HD rumble.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Um,
But so I've delayed that purchase like 5 times now at this point.
Mhm.
But now the time is right. I've got my time locked in on when I'm going to purchase it, and I've already solidified. I'm going to purchase the console. I'm going to purchase a Pro Controller, Octopath Traveler, Bomberman, and probably Mario Odyssey.
What breath?
I've already got it. I'm not going to buy it again. I don't need to buy it again. I've already done that. That game was great, but not great enough that I want to play it again.
I bought it just because.
No, I get it. I get it. It's the whole experience. It's
and
everything.
I got all the DLC for it too.
But if tomorrow they release a thing that said, yeah, Twilight Princess releasing on the Nintendo Switch, I would have it right now.
Yeah,
if
I
have
wouldn't
it-
argue that
I
at
would
all.
have it before they announced it because
Yes.
that is the gold standard of Zelda games for me. It's Twilight Princess. A lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree. I don't like to debate Zelda because Twilight Princess was such a great experience for me, and I don't want to ruin that with combining that awesome Pro Controller with Breath of the Wild, and then it's like, I have to go back on everything that I've said for like the last 8 years.
I do need to get a physical copy of Mario Odyssey at some point. Mine are still digital, but quite literally, we all know Nintendo games.
Do not go down in price.
No, especially Mario and Zelda games do not go down in price.
Right.
Eventually, you probably will be able to get Breath of the Wild for $20.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick it up for $20.
Uh-oh.
But with I've got to get Odyssey and I've got to get Mario Kart and definitely going to get Smash for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I just play it by myself, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's an iconic. I thought he was dying for a minute.
Nope. He's got the pig.
That's an iconic Nintendo title at this point. You can't not buy Smash.
Well, it's gotten so big.
Mhm.
It's gotten so big, and they're going through so many lengths to be able to let you play that game any way you want.
Mhm.
I just saw. It's a very difficult to see article and picture of a Switch bundle for Smash, which looks like it's got designs on the of course, on the Joy-Cons.
So
I might just buy that.
Today, when he was talking to me, he said, "So yeah, there's going to be a new Switch Pro Smash Edition." Well, I thought, because there has been rumored that they're going to release a Switch, another version of the Switch. It's like
The
a
new
Pro.
the new Nintendo Switch.
The new Nintendo Switch. So I was like, fuck. Now I got to go turn mine in and get another one.
You just sell it to me.
Yeah, I could. But he meant Pro Controller. So I was like, the whole conversation, it was probably lasted about 10 seconds where I was like, wait, what? Because I was like, man, I got to change. Like, he's talking to me and I'm not even listening. I'm like, crap.
I gotta get rid of all this shit.
Crap. But if they come out.
So here is the Pro Controller.
God, that looks good. That just looks freaking good.
I'm trying to hide the ad because this website likes to put ads over their pictures.
That's sexy.
I don't like the Smash symbol, but I do like the Smash symbol on the system.
Oh yeah,
That
just looks
sick.
good.
Now on the controller, not super fond of. I don't like white on a controller, period, because it never stays white.
Right.
All that grime. And of course, they've released a few other ones. They did one for Splatoon 2. They did one for Xenoblade Chronicles, which I really wanted.
Yes.
And then didn't get. It was already sold out.
Yeah, and they're so expensive. They're like $90-some for just to have the Splatoon one. It's like, I want one, but not that bad.
The main Switch controller is $70. It is a bit hefty. It's only $10 more than your regular controller. Of course, Mike did have to buy that one brand new because we couldn't find a used one until after he bought it like 2 weeks later.
That's how it
for
goes.
$30.
Oh shit. That's how it goes, man.
I almost.
You just got to delay your purchase a couple more days, and you will find it.
If you wouldn't have bought it, we wouldn't have saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm totally convinced.
Yeah, I am too.
I don't really have a whole lot more. There's the quick thing of like the Capcom guys going, yeah, we're gonna make some more remakes, maybe even remake the remake of Resident Evil. Which of course the website I was on had a picture of Exhibit with the Resident Evil picture over his face. Yo, dog, or would you like a remake?
Yeah.
remake.
So this is kind of one of the things that I was hoping we would at least have an opportunity for me to ask a couple questions. Do you guys think, and it's kind of a dumb question, but as long as RE2 remake sells, phenomenally, that we're gonna get a remake of basically every, and not just a remaster of the Resident Evil remake? Do you think that we are eventually gonna get a 0 and a 1, and then the one that everyone wants after 2? A lot of people want a Nemesis remake.
Yeah, see,
I would love to see it.
Okay, so
because a lot of people didn't get to play that game.
I know. It came out right near the end of the life cycle of the PS1. It did go to the Dreamcast. It was harder to find for that console. It did get put onto the GameCube. But those games used now are just ungodly expensive. So the first thing that they talked about was Nemesis. They are open to it. They're open to doing, he said, it's not even unfeasible now to remake the remake. It's 15 years old. He goes, even though it just got ported and HD remastered, he goes, we can do it. If the audience, he goes, we have a loyal fan base. If we do it, they're probably going to buy it. They're also looking at, I don't know if they are, I don't know if they are looking at it, but there's movement online to get them to do a Dino Crisis.
Thank you.
That would be awesome.
I was going to ask about that next. I got so excited I almost died. Dino Crisis 2, you know what? You had RE2 that was like the experience for everybody when you were, a wee human being. And then Dino Crisis 2 was just as good in every way, in my opinion, and in a couple ways a little bit better. I actually enjoyed how arcadey it was. But I played very little of Dino Crisis 3 on the Xbox, and I'm glad I didn't play much more than that because it wasn't very good.
He booped the crap.
He booped you.
Yeah, I just got booped by dog meat.
Hey, buddy.
But, God, that would be so awesome if we could get a Dino Crisis remake, because I know of at least 10 people just in my personal friends that would buy the shit out of that.
Same. I mean, you released OG Dino Crisis with that same engine. It's all you gotta do. Copy code, paste.
Yes,
Yep.
100%.
Oh man, that'd be beautiful. They just announced a remaster, not a remake, of the original Onimusha coming to PS4.
I saw that yesterday.
And so that is, I feel them going, okay, they like the Resident Evil, they like that kind of stuff. They're hyped for this, and it's awesome because I honestly feel like they were like, we hope they're gonna like this, and then it came out, and people were like, and they went, yes.
You know, Capcom has their fastest selling game of all time in Monster Hunter World.
And that's their highest selling game of all time.
So, you know, they're doing very well with IPs like Monster Hunter. You know, they announced Devil May Cry 5.
Mm-hmm. That comes out next spring in March.
Next spring. A lot of people are really excited for that. I'm really excited for that because I finished 4 and it was like, okay, I want to see where this goes next. And then I never got... And
then we got the reboot.
And then we got the reboot, and I never got that opportunity because I really enjoyed the character of Nero and how he interacted with Dante. And the story of 4 was really good, I thought. But now it's to the point where, in my opinion, they don't need to crank out any new IPs, and I don't really need any sequels of anything else. Capcom has such a strong library. Fans want this. Go back and give them, because you're going to make as much money as you would trying to push a new IP.
Well, that's what RE2 was the test of the water because everybody wanted it, and they knew that was one of their biggest titles that they've ever had. And then them seeing the pre-order results, and they're like, okay, we got you. And then the Mega Man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't even bring that one up because Mega it just goes 11, without saying.
I just saw Mega Man 11 comes out in October.
Yeah,
for $30. Sign me up.
Right,
I'm in.
I mean,
if you would just give me a Mega Man Legends remaster, then I would be happy. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Capcom.
Maybe that unreleased when they started on Legends 3, and they're like, "You're gonna do it." No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved those Legends games.
So
I'm the weird guy that enjoyed them.
I never got to buy them.
God, they were good. They were so good.
I have the first one in physical form.
And now they're so expensive.
You can back on the Vita and on your non-functioning PS3, you can buy them when they go. They go up for flash sale a lot. The Misadventures of Trombone, that's like a $150 physical game.
Yeah.
I literally saw that on flash sale like over the summer for like $2. You can get them.
Well,
if you have any slight interest,
you got that over there. Which I'm going to show you after.
So what? I mean, as far as Sony's talking about what it's going to do next console. Where are we at with the Xbox Scarlet? Because I haven't seen anything for the last couple months.
Other than them saying we're doing it, that's about it.
I feel like Halo Infinite is an Xbox next gen game.
Yeah,
for sure. I feel like whatever the Horizon team is working on, if that's the Fable game, I feel like that's a next gen game.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he is just, hey, would you play with me? He loves you. He's only seen you, 3 times?
Yeah, well, more than that, but like 5 times maybe. But he used to hate me, and now he loves me.
I know. He used to just watch you so close.
Yeah, I would look at him, and he would run away.
We have old videos of the podcast where you'd be sitting there, and he would you would move, and he would freak out, and do that. I don't know much about either console next gen thing. Because we keep hearing, PS5 maybe possibly next fall. As soon as that. Maybe in 2020. Xbox is not going to be far behind if it launches after. And then, of course, we have the Nintendo rumors of the Switch is doing very well for them, but they're going to be left in the dust. And
I was going to say, what do you, reasonably, what do you guys think the life cycle of the Switch is?
4 years.
Do you think it's and that's what I was going to ask. Do you think that it's going to hit that 4-year mark, or do you think they might extend that a little bit with more content?
If they release the new Nintendo Switch, which me and Mike talked, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but had the 4K capability, it's going to be more for the third parties. The original Switch is going to be available for more family-friendly content because all the Nintendo first parties will be compatible for both.
Right.
Going forward, the new third parties would only be for the new one.
I don't think they'll do that.
You don't think they'll do that? And to me, it's all variable. because where are they at in their mindset? Nintendo's always the weird one. They're always trying to do something new and innovative. And I just read, I can't remember what.
The next Nintendo console is actually a vacuum. Made out of cardboard.
And
it
is an AR. It's augmented reality to go with the new Luigi's Mansion game.
Right.
Exactly. Which is coming to 3DS.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're doing the original Luigi's Mansion, which is awesome. So now you can get both.
Very underappreciated game.
Yes, I agree. But it's like it's variable on where they're going, because I've heard from some developer, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Blizzard. Of course, Diablo 3 is coming out for Switch. They went on record to say that Nintendo, this is the future of console gaming. The avenue they went to be able to take it with you, that kind of thing. That's a great idea.
And then we had the Ubisoft guy a couple months ago say the future is streaming services.
Exactly.
And not actual, hard system.
That's totally likely. I think the next generation of consoles possibly to be the last with physical media. I've said it here before. I've given my thoughts of saying they're going to have one where you can do it and one where you download it.
All I did was touch him.
You grab his paw, he freaks out for me or anyone.
All
So
right, well, sorry, puppy.
Go and boop him again.
He'll boop me.
He gets a free boop.
but he's still okay with you.
He is.
He just doesn't like anything that
Touches his paw?
Well, no. Well, he doesn't like his paws to be touched, but anytime you grab him in any way,
Hey. Oh yeah. Hey now.
he freaks out.
You about knocked over the command center.
The reason I asked that question is because if say all the big three are going to continue to exist, but these are the last consoles that they ever put out, and we don't ever go any farther, but they keep cranking out games for these systems, I'd be okay with that. I would totally be okay with that, because the quality, the last 2 years, the quality of games that we're getting on these systems, we've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they continue to crank out this quality, I would be, I obviously wouldn't be elated by another game that I can play in 4K, because eventually we're going to exceed 4K. But, I would be satisfied.
I think Nintendo and all of them, I think Nintendo will be the first, but I think we're going to start seeing cell phone plans added to consoles, and they're going to be more mobile.
That's the whole 5G network deal.
Microsoft has been talking about it. PlayStation's super excited for the new 5G network. Nintendo's already got a mobile console.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at it. I hate to say that, and then with the 5G network, your streaming is going to be much more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a lot less lag. Now, there will always be those hardcore gamers. Like when you go to a tournament, you're not going to be on 5G streaming the game. It's going to be in front of you. But I think in the next 2 generations, the home console thing is going to be
Well, do you think
different.
it'll be gone, or do you think it'll be a media hub like the Xbox One originally was supposed to be? That's the way that it makes sense to me.
I don't think
it becomes a media hub, and then
just buy
for
attachments
every console, and then you just basically buy packages to activate portions
just like
of your
you
media
do for
hub.
Netflix and Hulu.
Yeah, it could
buy
be.
the PlayStation package.
I can see that.
Xbox, Ubisoft.
Almost like what the hell is that little stick called? Like a Roku?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking
Roku,
about?
Yeah.
You buy different channels and all that kind of stuff.
See, I think it'll be. I want to say it'll be like that. It all depends on what happens with the 5G network. If let's say AT&T tomorrow is like, hey, every tower's going to 5G tomorrow, then they're going to be pushing for any type of mobile because it just makes sense to make it mobile.
T-Mobile and Sprint, that merger that they're still trying to work out, they're probably going to be the first ones to push 5G.
If that merger goes through, they'll have the funds to do it before. Because they're claiming that neither one of them can do it alone, and that no other company can do it by themselves either. However, I just saw where AT&T just took. Now this is just what I said earlier about taking politics and all that crap, trying to keep it out, but it's relevant.
Right, it's relevant.
Because they took that big tax break that they had, and are doing stock buybacks and have been doing it for years, but now have more capital to do so. They now have they said they put out a thing where they were going to hire 7,000 people. They've actually fired and laid off 7,000 people and are moving more jobs overseas and pocketing more of that money. What's the end game? Maybe it's to pocket more money, to make more money, to get the 5G network up and running for AT&T.
They messed themselves up by buying DirecTV. If they would have left DirecTV alone and let it falter or whatever it was going to do, and took all those funds and put it into 5G, they'd have it.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable to say that.
Now, is AT&T the one that's merging with Time Warner?
Find out.
I don't know. I would say no because of their ownership of DirecTV, because that's, monopoly territory for owning too much of the market. But I can't say for sure.
It is. The AT&T Time Warner deal approval gets Justice Department challenge. That was July 12th. So it was approved, and then now it's
held up in the courts.
Yeah. So yes, that is seemingly happening. One of the cable giants in Time Warner could possibly be right in line with DirecTV. It's and it's the whole Disney Fox acquisition that got greenlit. Hasn't been challenged as of yet. But I mean, that's one thing. You have all these major businesses and corporations, billion-dollar corporations, merging or buying other properties.
We're approaching Cyberpunk level megacorps.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
It's, Umbrella.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad somebody else grabbed it.
Yeah, the Umbrella Corporation. I always thought it was going to be Google, but now Amazon has.
I thought it was going to be Skynet.
Skynet, well,
that's what I thought.
But Amazon has shot up so fast.
Yeah,
they've almost caught up to Google, in matter of internet superpower.
I thought they had. I thought he is the richest man on the planet now.
Is Bezos?
Yeah.
Bezos is the richest man on the planet.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. You could set up right now. You can go on there and set up a button to instantly buy and have shipped to your house a whole case of cherry vanilla Pepsi.
Yes, I can, but I don't want to do it.
Because then it would be...
Yes.
Well, you're going to get home. Your wife's going to be like, why are there 63 boxes of... Don't you judge me, woman.
Don't you judge me, woman. You shut your mouth when you speak to me.
I'm taking away your button. You will take away nothing.
You'll take away my button, but you'll never take away my freedom.
Oh, man.
God, those dash buttons are so freaking tempting.
Oh, man.
For shit like laundry detergent. But I'm always paranoid my kid's going to grab it and be
like...
Well, I think we have some for the cat food and one other thing. I don't really get on that app. It is hilarious. I saw my kid holding my phone one time, and I looked, and I'm like, wait, he actually turned it on? Oh no! Oh no! Because mine, it's like the full screen, and you need to do that.
Right? Yeah, mine's the same way.
It's I'm gonna have to start putting a passcode, pattern thing. I'm gonna have to start retina scan.
But then Wyatt will learn that.
I know. He's gonna be like,
he'll grab your phone and he'll walk up to you and he'll just go, Seep.
Thanks. I saw this ad. It was for a laptop with the little fingerprint scanner, and the kid was taking the mom's sleeping finger.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course. Well, all right. So Dog Meat's saying that we should probably get wrapping this up.
He's saying play with me.
Alrighty then.
This is my day right
here.
He
just moved his mouth. It almost kind of reminded me of Mr. Ed.
Yes.
Hey, Paddle. Hey.
He constantly has this daily confused look on his face.
Yes. Doesn't he? He always looks sad.
It's stern, confused, and sad all at the same time. Come here, Patty.
You gonna boop him?
Don't you judge me, you son of a bitch.
He is judging you from a distance. That's what he's doing right now.
Oh, look at that, snubbed.
Yeah. I touched your face. A lot of dead space here.
Yeah,
While we're staring at the dog.
Yeah. dog that is not visible on camera. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so
This
much
is Ghost Dog.
for checking out this episode of the podcast. This has been episode 92. You were on 10 episodes ago, exactly. 82 and 92. Maybe we'll try and keep that a concurrent
Yeah, just
theme.
have me come back every 10 episodes.
Oh, I bet he's in frame now.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, there you go. But, yeah, thank you so much. Make sure to check us out on wherever we're at. We're on podcast services around the globe every single Thursday. This is the first test for Twitch. If you watched, if you joined us, thank you so much. This is what we're going to be doing going forward every single Wednesday live on Twitch. Sometime between 4 and 6 is when we're going to start. Just whenever we get off work and get ready and get our shit together.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to go. It's going to be awesome. As far as comments go, we haven't really decided how we're going to do that. We're going to read
I've
some.
been looking, kind of glancing at him.
Has there been any?
I think so far it's just been me that's looked at it.
Oh, okay. I thought, were you commenting on our own thing?
Yes.
But
Our guest was doing that on our show last night.
I noticed. But as far as comments go,
Actually, we've been offline.
No, we're not.
Shows me that we're offline.
No. It says that we're still live and still got a good connection.
Oh, yep, and I'm the only viewer still with no chat in the room.
Well, anyway, how the comments are going to go, because we didn't advertise this, we just threw it up. If it's pertinent, if it's a good comment, we might read it. But we're probably going to try and keep most of them for when we're done with the show and try to get it to get them at the end. So at this point in the show is when we would be looking at some comments. Are there any sort of questions? Are there any statements? Please. The only rule for our comment section: please just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick, folks.
It is very plain and simple.
And yes, that is a reference to Blaine.
But
Don't be a Blaine.
Don't be a Blaine.
Don't spoil stuff. If you don't want, if you didn't want anything spoiled for you, please don't do it. Just don't be a dick. Use common sense. We don't want to super police this thing, but obviously we will if it gets out of control.
Right.
So with that, but we're all the backlog. Everything we do is on YouTube. Every single episode in audio formats. We have some video that we did from a certain episode to certain episode. We kind of stopped for a while. Now that we're streaming, when we start doing this on a more regular basis, every single week, it'll be up there on our backlog there. So you'll be able to find that audio form on podcast, on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. We're there, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, all that stuff. Your social medias, right down there in the corner on the live stream, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Game Addicts Play. We're live there. We're posting. We're doing stuff. Be sure to go and vote on Facebook and Twitter for the next round, the semifinals of the greatest controller of all time bracket. I'll get that up very, very soon if it's not up already. I believe I hit all the nails on the head.
I believe so, yes.
So, Tyler, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me on here again.
We love having you.
You look very sexy today. I just want to let you know that.
It is such a great time, and it's always great conversation having you on. We literally had I had no idea what we were going to talk about. I just want to have Tyler on.
I didn't ramble this time.
We didn't get locked into a heated conversation for an hour and a half.
We fucking did it.
Yes.
Hell yeah. But until next time, folks, I've been Brando.
And I've been Mike.
And I've been Tyler.
We'll see you next week, guys. Game on.
Later.